Hi, my name is Biprativ Dhar. I am the principal architect at Epsilon. We are an architecture and interior design company. The project that we are actually discussing is an office which was done for a export house located in one of the very prime areas of Kolkata, overlooking the Maidan, and is very close to Park Street. First of all, is the inspection of the site, and number two is the client brief. Now, the inspection of the site, what we try and see is that how is the whole site being placed. We also try and check the MEP, which is the mechanical, electrical, plumbing. We also check how where the pantry is positioned, where the toilets are positioned, floor to floor heights. So when we people had actually gone on site, there is a beautiful view over here which is facing the western side. Now, this is an amazing view. I mean, you can actually see right from the Victoria, you can see the second Hooghly Bridge, the Vidyasagar Setu. It goes further on to the first Howrah Bridge, the Eden Gardens. So obviously, this view was something which had to be encashed on. It was a very exciting thing from our point of view. The floor to floor height wasn't really very great. It was like around 10 feet. Obviously, with the beams, it would come down to around 8.5, 9 feet. So it was not really a very great in terms of the height, but overall it was nice because there were actually large openings. So we took advantage of this so that we could get a lot of natural light into the premise. We actually had to do this kind of a design which would take advantage of the natural light, which would take advantage of the flow of the sun, and also take advantage of the huge openings which was there. Number two consideration was the client brief. First of all is we need to understand that what is the type of business, what is the hierarchy, who are the people who are going to actually run the office, who are the people who are going to work here, how many workstations, how many people who are going to work. Overall, how is the flow going to be? It's very important for any office to understand the kind of flow which actually has to happen, because if the flow is actually correct, then it makes a lot easier for the occupants. These clients, they happen to be our existing clients. We've actually done their house. It's a family run office. Hierarchy wise, if you see, so they had their people of the family who would be actually the top, and actually below that they have a lot of executives who are actually running the show, and after that you also have some team leaders, and obviously below that you've got a lot of workstations or the people. In terms of the vastu considerations, if we say the southwestern side is the place where the main people of the office should be positioned. Southeastern side is where you generally have the pantry, and then of course in the northeast you have the mandir. So the MDs of the office, they would be positioned over here, where basically they get the advantage of the entire view over here. And there is of course a lot of natural light which comes in from the western side all throughout the day. But this entire area per se is like a self-sufficient area where they have the tables over here, they've got a lounge over here, toilet over here, a small pantry. So it's like a self-sufficient suite, as actually one can say. Zone-wise, if you see, the positioning has been such. On the southwestern side, we've got the MDs along with the conference room. This is where the other part of the office is, which essentially has all the workstations which are here placed in the middle. The senior level cubicles are all placed on the periphery. We also took advantage of the RCC columns, like the RCC column over here, which created an enclosure in between the pantry, the toilet. So the senior cubicles are here, the team leaders are here, and the general workstations are here. As you come out of the lift, you've got the reception over here, and obviously along with the reception you also have a small meeting room. The reason why rather we've kept the meeting room here is that the clients, they actually did not want all the visitors to enter the office. So people from inside the office would come here and they would meet them here in the meeting room, so that it actually the interface of the visitors actually ends here, unless, of course, the visitor is somebody who comes for the high level executives or for the MDs. Now, the conference, as in, this is like a conference come a boardroom. It's a spacious conference room with adequate lighting. We've got all kinds of lighting over there. We've got both actually mood lighting, as well as we've got, lighting which is only for the table. There were beams running all across, so we tried to kind of camouflage all that into our false ceiling. Once again, there is glass on one side, so you don't feel that claustrophobia of being inside a room with at least 15 people over there. Since I mentioned a little while earlier that we do not have very good floor to ceiling heights, so we went in for an open ceiling concept wherein all the HVAC actually ducts are exposed, the firefighting lines are exposed, the electricals are exposed. So we actually do not have a false ceiling. So all the illumination also which we have is something which is hanging from the original RCC, slab, was to take the maximum advantage of the height. Now, since this was a very linear kind of a place, we wanted to increase the width of this, but obviously it was not possible because this had the emergency exits and all over there. All the other areas over here, these have actually mirrors which were put on the wall. Now, vastu wise also, it actually served a purpose since this was on the northern side. See, essentially what happens is that, we do not, it's not like for us, it is a project, all our projects, it is not something which just, which we see at the beginning, we give the drawings. It is something which we're seeing every day. It's like a child which is actually, whom you see grow. So right from the first day until the last day, until the time that the project is being handed over, we are actually all along with it. We are along with the project. We are seeing each and everything, right from the electrical cables being laid, the initial, the flooring being done, the false ceiling pipelines being laid. So it's not something, so we see the project actually come alive, we see it evolving. So this evolution of this project, this entire thing right from start to finish, how the whole thing goes, that is the most interesting part of the entire, this entire journey, so as to say.